Does anyone want to bring up a topic or question, point of discussion for today? Welcome Axel, who's just joined us, and maybe a few others. What's that view behind you, Anu Krishna?
Oh, it's a background for my university. So like this is a dome. Well, it's part of the university. It's where the university is at. So I like to use their backgrounds. I think they're very pretty.
Okay, yeah, it looks pretty epic.
I have a question.
Okay.
This morning we're listening to Vaidehi read the subjective evolution of consciousness. I think did I say that right? And she was talking about the processes of, I don't remember exactly what the process of what. But I know she said it starts with attachment, and then it leads with spiritual emotion, I think, and then it was continuous flow, and then it was divine love. I remember that correctly. Something like that. The question is, how can we embody the more of like prema, like that divine love, when we're in that stage?
Are you talking about these 4 types of motivation? Fear, gain, duty, and love? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm not sure exactly what I'm talking about because I don't remember hearing the beginning of the part that she was reading.
I think it's like Ananta, Rita, Nishta, Bhava, Prema, that type of progression that she's talking about.
Oh, okay. The different stages of development of love that Rupa Goswami describes.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Chinmay. Well, okay, so this sounds like it's something that Srila Rupa Goswami discusses in Bhakti, the Samrita Sindhu. And I remember the first half, which is kind of more relevant for us. You're quoting from the second half. So we can have a little overview. So he's describing from the very beginning the different stages of development that the sincere soul will go through in their approach towards Krishna, towards the Lord. And it begins, Ado Shraddha, means first Shraddha. You're familiar with that word now, Shraddha? I'll put that in the chat here. That's one you want to remember. Shraddha means faith. Shraddha means faith. So first of all, you must have a little faith. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha. Then the next stage is Sadhu Sangha, means association with the saints, with the sadhus, or in a simple sense, persons who are cultivating this high ideal of life, who can support us on the path, right? So good association, good company. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Tato Bhajana Kriya. Bhajana Kriya means like an active life of service and practicing the different forms of devotion, following different practices of bhakti. So, service life, you've maybe heard of the 9 practices of devotion: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, and so on. So this active service life, and particularly we can say what's implied here, is under the guidance of a Vaishnava, with the connection of a Vaishnava, right? That's to be assumed. And then after that is Anartha Vritti. And Anartha Vritti is referring to purification. Anartha means literally anartha. We tend to translate the word anartha as, you know, defects or obstacles within ourselves, or bad habits. Literally, Srila Sridhar Maharaj explains what it means is that which has no meaning. Because artha means meaning. So anartha, that which has no meaning, right? So anything that is on the cover, right, that doesn't reflect the true self, that is anartha. And then nivritti means like the clearing of that, the removal, the destruction of that. So through it, it's like it's you can see the progression, the development, right? Through an active life of service, association, then automatically there's purification that starts to take place, right? So then nishta, right? Then nishta refers to a stage of 24 hours continuous engagement. It's, you know, it's quite helpful, and it's important for us actually to reflect on these things, because it gives us some perspective on like where we actually are and what's like how high the bar is, you could say, right? It gives us some clear idea, right? So nishta refers to this stage of 24 hours continuous absorption and remembrance of Krishna and service of Krishna. But we haven't even reached the stage of pure love, actually, even at that stage, right? This is like going, you could say this is going beyond the point of liberation also, right? Purification has been completed so that one has attained the state of the soul, right? One is 24 hours engaged in remembrance of the Lord, but still they have not reached that attainment of full expression of divine love, right? So nishta, and then what's next? Is it ruchi? I think next is ruchi. Ruchi means then there's some taste, right? Then some real attraction, some not just some flickering attraction or sentimental attraction or attraction that's coming from the mind or the senses, but genuine taste, genuine attraction that's coming from the soul, right? That is ruchi. And then let me look it up. I don't remember all the exact stages after that. I'm just focusing on the anartha nivritti stage right now, so. But let me look it up here. Probably Chinmoy can say.
Bhava.
Yeah, and then there's different. Oh, is it bhava? Okay, bhava. Thank you, Prabhu. So then is bhava. And bhava, I remember Srila Sridhar Maharaj referring to it, describing it in one place as like a blossoming. It's like a stage of blossoming of divine love, not the full expression of divine love, but blossoming. And then prema, right? And then prema. And then does he include anubhav? And I'm trying to remember. Let me see. There may even be more. Let's see if I can find the verse. Shraddha, Narta, Prema. Let's see. Yeah, here's bhava, then prema. Oh, then there's also a sakti. That's also, or a sakti is attachment, isn't it? I missed that one. Nishta, the stage of full 24 hours remembrance. Then ruchi, some real taste. A sakti is referring to real attachment. Then bhava, the awakening of divine love, blossoming of divine love. And then prema. And then was there something after that? I mean, I don't know if we need to know that. Let's see, all the references I'm coming up, they just kind of give portions of it. I can't find the original verse.
Did you say it was the awakening of love and then the prema, the divine love? Did I hear that right?
Yes, prema is full expression of divine love. right? Tata asaktis, tato bhava. Yeah, bhava and then prema. It looks like premas.
So what is the difference of both those stages? Like how does it look to awaken love versus to already be within divine?
How does it look to what, sorry?
In those different stages, like to awaken love versus to be already in divine love.
Well, when I find out, I'll let you know. It might be something to look at in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. There may be, I mean, I haven't ever heard any detailed, comparison made of the distinctions. And the thing is, for persons like ourselves, we're not gonna, how much can we really comprehend, right? It's kind of like, you could think of it like this, like we're in kindergarten and we're looking at the work of PhD students, right? Like, higher level PhD students and beginner level PhD students. Like to us, it's like, well, it's all pretty much the same. It's all way ahead of me. Yeah. But what I wanted to talk a little bit more about the earlier stages, because it's helpful as some background, understanding. That actually there's something prior in terms of how the whole process begins. And this word you've probably heard of, Sukriti, right? Sukriti. And Sukriti is referring to, spiritual wealth, spiritual fortune, right? That comes to us as a result of associating with the devotees of Krishna, right? And that's something that can be acquired knowingly or unknowingly. And so we also hear about agyata sukriti and gyata sukriti. So, for example, we hear about how animals, they can unknowingly acquire, this spiritual fortune, by, let's say, eating the prasadam of Krishna or the Vaishnavas, right? Or we hear Srila Sridhar Maharaj gives the analogy of birds circumambulating a temple, right? So like flying around a temple and unknowingly giving respect, or in the, a human, may do something simple like open the door for some devotee, right? They don't know who they are, or they're just compelled by some feeling of human kindness, but they're unknowingly rendering service to a devotee of Krishna. And so the whole process begins like that. And when this Sukriti develops to a great enough degree that it will awaken into this conscious inquiry, right? And this attraction, right? And we experience, right? Some people, you'll be, let's say you're wearing a sari or tilak, and some people they don't know why, but they're just automatically attracted to it, right? Or they hear the kirtan, you're out doing sankirtan in the streets, and and you see some people are just can't help themselves. They're smiling ear to ear. They want to join in. Other people, they're put off by it. And so those persons who have this attraction, it is because that you can understand it's because they have some sukriti. It is something that has, they've been graced, because of some previous service that they've offered unknowingly, right, to the higher plane. And so then from the accumulation of the sukriti, the spiritual fortune, then the shraddha, faith develops, right? And then with that faith, one will approach the saints, the Vaishnavas, the devotees, and make inquiry, and then in a conscious way begin their spiritual cultivation, right? and then one's, then one's spiritual life will begin in earnest. And I mean, it's difficult really to answer your question, because really it is quite far away from us at present, And of course we can have some discussion. And if you're really curious, then I would recommend to look at Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, he published that in English as The Nectar of Devotion. And I haven't actually been through it, but it is a book we have permission to read that book. And I believe Rupa Goswami does give some comparison. And he does, from portions that I've heard of from our gurus, he does give some examples, right, of different expression, how the devotees express their devotion in different ways. He gives examples, and he makes some comparison, and for example, I'll just mention one thing that comes to mind. And also Chaitanya Charitamrita, which we're reading generally in the mornings in our temples, that also gives some. There are many excerpts in there actually from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and although trying to think what was the chronology which came first, but I'm not sure. But anyhow, some portions of text which are in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, I believe, are also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And there are some, for example, one thing that comes to mind is, it is mentioned that at a very high level of devotion, that the devotee, their devotion is so selfless and pure that when symptoms of ecstasy come to them, right, in their service for Krishna and their love for Krishna, they naturally begin to experience divine symptoms, right? So for example, tears and trembling, the hair standing on end, can be fainting. But the devotees, instead of like enjoying this experience, they actually denounce it, because they consider it to be a distraction from their seva. Because their love is so pure, right? And there's some, as I recall, there's some example given of, I forget his name, but one servitor, he's fanning Krishna, I believe in Dwarka. And as a result of being next to Krishna, he's starting to become like stunned with ecstasy and trembling, and then instead of enjoying that, he's like cursing that, and he's rebuking himself. Oh, I cannot do my service properly, So one example of these types of how the purity of the love of the devotees, it can reach such a high level, such a high level. And another incident comes to mind. I don't think this is included in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but it's mentioned by our gurus, just continuing this theme to show different stages, right, and different levels of love. There's one expression that's used in the scriptures in regards to the different manifestations of the Lord, that because we're approaching a world where everything's perfect, and it's just a question of different degrees of perfection, right? And that's one way that, we have to keep that in mind when we're hearing these topics, and particularly when there's some comparison being made, because it's not like in this world where we'll say, oh, this is good, this is bad, this is so-so, and this could some room for improvement. But when we hear about these pure devotees, it's actually, they're all perfect. They're all pure. It's just different degrees of purity, different degrees of perfection, right? And so in regards to different manifestations that the Lord takes, there's a place in Chaitanya Charitamrita describes them as being Purna. Purna means full. Purna Tada means like more full, or the word Purna can mean full or complete or perfect, right? So there's Purna, full, Purnatada, more full, more perfect, and then Purnatam means most perfect, most full, right? So like that, then also when it comes to the different moods of the devotees, there's just different degrees of perfection, right? And so I'm just reminded of another story we hear from our gurus about Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, right? That on one occasion, Rupa Goswami, he wanted to make some special offering for Sanatan, right? So Sanatan is the elder brother of Rupa, and also in some ways like a guru to Rupa. And so Rupa wanted to make some offering for him, but they're living as these very poor sadhus living under trees, or caves in Vrindavan. He doesn't have anything, and then very mysteriously there was this beautiful young lady who came and delivered all these very special ingredients, right? In particular, sweet rice ingredients we hear, but very high, fine quality rice and milk and sugar and maybe some nuts and so Rupa went to Sanatan. He said, "Oh, I'm going to cook lunch for you. So you please come over to my place later. I'm going to prepare something nice for you." And so Rupa Goswami prepared this beautiful feast, and Sanatan came over later, and he's taking this prasadam and he's appreciating it, but he's also a little surprised because he knows, Rupa Goswami doesn't have money and so he says, "Where did you get all of these very fine ingredients?" And Rupa Goswami said, "Oh, there was this very beautiful girl who came and she delivered all these ingredients to me. And so I was able to prepare this." And Sanatan Goswami saying, "Oh, really? Really, who is this girl?" And Sanatan Goswami, he had a very special relationship with the residents of Vrindavan. Generally, sannyasi types, or those in the line of renunciation, they don't mix so much with family, right? Or get so involved in daily affairs, right? And they weren't sannyasis, but they were Babajis. And Babajis, they live a life of renunciation, right? But Sanatan Goswami, he was an exception to this. And he actually had a very close, very special relationship with all the residents of Vrindavan. And he was like an uncle to everyone, and sometimes would help to resolve different disputes that people had with each other. And so he knew everyone. And so Sanatani started questioning Rupa, "Oh, really, who's this girl?" And he's asking for more details, and Rupa gave him a more detailed description. And I think also she'd said she was from this particular village in the Vrindavan area, Yavat. And Sanatan Goswami, he became quite determined to find out who this girl was. And he actually went to that area and he made inquiries. And he finally came to the conclusion that that girl was none other than Srimati Radharani herself, and Yavat is the village where she had lived with her husband, I believe. And so Sanatan, he came to this conclusion, oh, Srimati Radharani herself came and personally supplied the ingredients for this beautiful prasad. But how do you think he responded? Normally, we would think that he would have been very, very happy, would be over the moon. But he had the opposite reaction. And we hear other cases, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he actually mentions, and I'm not qualified to say, I'm a very lowly person, but Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he makes a comparison. Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri is a very, very great saint in our line, a very great devotee. He's considered in some ways to be the origin of our lineage, Madhavendra Puri. And we hear of one occasion when Krishna personally came and brought him some milk, and then another occasion, some sweet kheer milk preparation. And Madhavendra Puri was overjoyed, very happy, felt so pleased and honored to receive that, right? And that is a glorious thing, right? So there's not that there's anything wrong. But Sanatana Goswami, his devotion is so intense that he actually became angry. That he said so he went back to Rupa and he said, our whole existence, the purpose of our whole existence is to serve, the least desire of Srimati Radharani. She is our great mistress. And yet she has come to serve me. And he was extremely unhappy about that. He chastised Rupa very strongly. He was angry. How could you let this happen? Such a high level of devotion. It is light years away from where we are, at least where I am, right? So this is some example, you can say of this is one expression of devotion, pure devotion. This is one symptom, right? We can't actually say anything about the experience that these great souls have, but we can hear some symptoms, right, of one who has such a high level of and one in whom there's another place. Actually, now you've reminded me. Okay, we're going to read this. I really like this verse. This is also in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I know Ati Sundri, she likes concrete, something concrete, right? So I'll give you something concrete. This is a very nice verse, and it's describing the symptoms of one within whom, I'm trying to remember, it probably is describing one of the specific stages of this development of devotion, but I think within whom the seed of devotion has begun to sprout. I think that's kind of how it's put. I'm trying to, can't remember, man. I think the first word is this kshantir. Oh, I think I found it. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, Bob. Okay, yeah. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. This is a partial answer to your question. So this is the verse. Maybe I'll post it in the chat. We had this printed out in our temple in Calcutta, this verse. It was by the stairway going up to our Gurudev's room. I used to love looking at this verse. And I'll put the translation there too. So, Kshantir Vyarta Kalatvam Viraktir Mana Shunyata Ashabandha Subudkanta Namagane Sadaruchi Asaktis Tad Gunakyane Pritis Tad Vasatis Tale Ityadayo Nubhavasyor Jata Bhavankure Jane. When the seed of ecstatic emotion for Krishna, so this is bhava, is the Sanskrit word, which is the stage before prema. When the seed of ecstatic emotion for Krishna fructifies, the following 9 symptoms manifest in one's behavior: forgiveness, concern that time should not be wasted, detachment, absence of false prestige, hope, eagerness, a taste for chanting the holy name of the Lord, attachment to descriptions of the transcendental qualities of the Lord, and affection for those places where the Lord resides. That is, a temple or a holy place like Vrindavan. Oh, Anubhav, this is the word I was thinking of, right? These are all called Anubhav, subordinate signs of ecstatic emotion. They are visible in a person in whose heart the seed of love of God has begun to fructify. Okay, and I'm putting the reference here too. Oh, sorry, I've included some links there from, I'm just copying this from vedabase.com. But there's a reference here, the section in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. You can look it up on vedabase.com. Okay. Oh, I'm really happy we could remember. It's such a beautiful meditation. These nine qualities, which of course, you know, we don't have at present, but we can aspire for.
Yeah, that's perfect. That actually summarizes everything that you were expressing in others.
We did have some hands raised, and I think Scarlett also had a question.
Yeah, Adam raised her hand, and then Scarlett had a question about which book, which version. So I think there's.
And Marie has a comment here too. She's very nice.
So Scarlett wanted
What
to
was
know
Scarlett?
if it was book 1, 2, 3, or 4 of the.
Bhakti Rasamrita.
Oh, okay. Well, it's right here now. You can find it. But I don't know what that reference, because I haven't read Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I don't know how that, but there's the reference there. You can find it from there, I think. So, yeah. And also through that verse, if you search for that verse, then.
And then
Okay.
Anu Krishna raised her hand.
Okay. Anu Krishna had a hand raised. Tell us, Anu Krishna.
Hi, Didi. Sorry, I'm eating some food in my mouth. Okay, so you said, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. How did you say Sukriti? Sukriti. Is it just your accent? Is it the accent that just sounds different, or is it actually pronounced Sukriti?
Do we
Should I
have a
I say
Sanskrit?
Sakriti. Sakriti. Or Sukriti.
I
Sakriti,
say Sukriti. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. What do you
like
think,
tomato,
Chinmoy?
tomato.
No, that's not like tomato. Chinmoy Prabhu.
I've always heard Sukriti.
Sukriti. Sukriti. Like that?
Yeah.
Sukriti. So maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. Oh dear. Sukriti. Okay, I'm gonna have to listen to Gurudev saying it. Sukriti. Is that how you say it?
Yes, you got
Okay.
it right, Vishakha Dasi.
Oh, your mic isn't working, Ramanandapu, unfortunately. But okay, yeah, I mean, you know, I don't always pronounce words right. I'm sorry.
You are forgiven, Vishakha.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, you know. Actually, there are some sounds that, you know, we can't even make, you know, or at least I can't.
Yeah,
Well,
Ekadasi, but I guess it's Ekadasi or something like that.
Ekadashi.
Ekadashi. But I've been saying Ekadasi.
if you look at the diacritics of the actual like Sanskrit, then that helps. So in Ekadashi, I think there's a long A, then you know there's an emphasis on the A.
Okay.
So that can guideline. All right. Well, any other comments from anyone? Maybe Chinmoy would like to add something to the discussion.
Just a second. See if you can hear this. Oh, wait. Oh, wait a second, sorry. That didn't work. No. Okay, I have to get back to that, but I'll find Govinda Maharaj saying Sukriti.
Oh, that would be cool. Or we can make you a co-host or host and you can share the audio. Or maybe that clip isn't the right one. Huh?
Let me try again.
What are the actual diacritics?
Should more meet you host so you can share your screen if you like, and we can all watch the video.
Let's try this. Wait.
You know what word I cannot? There are some, like, for example, Nishinga Dev. I haven't worked out how to pronounce that properly. Because there are different ways. Some will say Nasimha, some more Nishingha. Then there's Narasimha. It's a tricky one. And Chatter Dasi also. Like Nishinga Chatter Dasi, that's like one of the hardest things for me to say. Yeah, there are many words.
But language is also like territorial, you know, so maybe there is not just the only one way to say it, because you move to a different location and the dialect will actually make it just sound a little different, and it's both correct. You know, I'm from Germany and like German, and there's like Bavarian German, Austrian German, Swiss German, High German, and it's all kind of, it's correct, but it sounds maybe also not the same.
You're right. That is totally true in some cases. In some cases, I would say it's just wrong. But in other cases, you're absolutely right. And particularly within our group, there can be a lot of confusion between the Bengali and the Sanskrit pronunciation. And and sometimes our Gurudev, when he would lean more to the Sanskrit pronunciation, other times a little more to the Bengali, and you can't say one is right or wrong, right? It's just different. So that is true. In some cases, it's like that.
And also, like, it's the hearing, like the mouth cannot produce the sound if the ear cannot properly hear. That's why some people cannot understand language so well, because they're actually not hearing it. It's like people like hearing music, they can hear it really well, or they're like not so well, which is also really great, because we are learning that it is the listening, you know, what is very important for us, you know, before the speaking comes. So I can't wait to hear Gurudev saying Sukriti or
There are
Sukriti.
some basic words that are difficult for, like, for example, bhakti. Like there's a BH, there's a special BH sounds, you know, like actually the Latino speakers, they can make it more easily, but I can't make it.
Bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga.
Right, jog, that's right. Bengalis will say jog. Instead of yoga, Bengalis will say jog.
Okay, so I got the audio, but this will show you actually, he does Bengali Sukriti. See if you can tell the difference why it's Bengali Sukriti.
Okay. Can you share I think you can share your screen and do an audio share, then we can hear better.
Okay.
Because it's
Can I share my screen?
And then share audio, and it's that green button down below.
It's just a subtitle file. Let's see if I can do it.
It is only mercy and also Shukriti. That means not ordinary Shukriti.
It's that SH sound, right?
No, that's Bengalis.
Totally Bengali, yeah.
There's no just S, always SH.
In Bengali, the Bengalis like to do that. They'll just say S, but a lot of times they'll just shh. They'll shoot.
Can you play it again, please?
Okay.
Again.
It is only mercy and also Shukriti. That means not ordinary Shukriti. Bhaktonmukhi Shukriti, Maharaj. That is called Bhaktonmukhi Shukriti.
Okay, so how should we pronounce?
Because even in that, his telling of that, at first it's more Shukriti, but then he comes a little bit softer with the sh sound, becomes more
Yeah.
Sukriti.
Yeah, in the third one, it was more like the Sanskrit way, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the first one was like fully Bengali. Then it kind of like slowly more. So, but now if we do that, we'll just sound silly, you know. We do the Bengali. It sound like we're pretenders, right? So tell me how to say it then, Chinoy.
Sukriti.
Sukriti.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been saying it totally wrong. Sukriti.
So not
Sukriti.
Shukriti.
Well, you're saying it the Bengali.
I think it depends on whether you're speaking Bengali or not.
Yeah, you can do that if your heart pulls you there, Gangalu.
Sukriti. Okay, so I've been saying Sakriti like an American, you know, like that. The Americans we emphasize a lot, like so much. so not Sakriti, it's Sukriti. Okay, I'm so glad we clarified that.
It doesn't suck. It doesn't suck, so it's Sukriti, right? It's the long U. I don't
That'll
know.
help to.
I thought that might
And
be
what was that other word? Like what was he saying to the Maharaj? He was saying bhakti and then Sukriti. What was that word in the middle? What you played
Can you
last?
play
I can't. What
was just
Chinmoy was
focusing
just
some-
playing.
I didn't notice. Yes.
I have to share the screen real quick. Wait, did I-
Bhaktonmukhi Shukriti, Maharaj. That is called
Yeah,
Bhaktonmukhi
Unmukhi.
Shukriti.
Bhakti Unmukhi Shukriti.
Yeah.
And what does Gurudev explain what that is earlier on?
No, he doesn't give really explanation. Oh, earlier on.
We still have them about 10 minutes. Maybe we can listen to Gurudev 10 minutes.
Okay, I guess we could just do it from here.
Yeah, from a little earlier would be nice. This is the one you're working on at present?
No, this is a very old one.
Okay.
I mean,
I looked it up and it says propense Unmukhi.
Okay, I'll start it here.
It is a chance. Who is getting the chance? Who is taking the chance? He is benefited. He will got benefit. And it is also depending mercy of great Vaishnava. কি জ্ঞানে প্রয়াস মুদভাষ্য নমন্ত এব জীবন্তী সন্মুখরিতাং ভবদীয় বার্তাম স্থানে স্থিতা means anywhere you can stay. But if you got the that transcendental knowledge from a pure devotee, you must got that the service to Krishna. It is not depending Varnashram or not depending any place. It is only mercy and also Shukriti, that means not ordinary Shukriti. Bhaktonmukhi Shukriti Maharaj. That is called Bhaktonmukhi Shukriti. And that only coming through a great devotee. Otherwise not possible. Devotional life is another thing from anything. That is nirguna. I told it, and also scripture telling that, all the shastra telling that it is nirguna. And this world is gunamaya world. What is English, Maharaj? Nirguna?
Transcendental, beyond this.
Beyond this mundane.
Three types of modes, gunas. Beyond that.
And we are looking it. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur also said, যে অদূরে আমরা আমি দেখতে পাচ্ছি খুব মানে কাছেই যে 50,000 50,000 devotee will come to Mayapur.
Very soon I see.
Very soon.
In my inner eye.
50,000 devotee will come to see the Mayapur, and they will chant with the Indian devotee in the name, by the name of
taking the name
of Mahaprabhu, Gaur Nityananda. And it's wrote Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And also Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he also said. And this day we are looking, Russia, Hungary, they are also preaching devotee, Krishna Nam. Whereas we are not looking in India very much, that pure devotional life. Gyan Karma, so many fire sacrifice happening in the UP and South India, but Krishna Sankirtan is very rare. Widely, it's come out through Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his disciple, Swami Maharaj, Guru Maharaj. We are looking it now. And we are also very fortunate. We join with that higher consciousness.
We could go on forever.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Chinmoy Prabhu. Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti. Rasa has in the chat here. I mean, I think I saw Srila Sridhar Maharaj gave in one place some explanation also that there were two ways in which devotion or Sukriti could develop, and that one was kind of in this spontaneous way to the causeless mercy of a devotee, and it seems like that's what Gurudev's talking about, and then the other, he said, was like through your regular life of sadhana, Sukriti can also develop like that. I actually, in one place I saw Srila Sridhar Maharaj mention that, but he didn't give like a full explanation, and I never had a complete understanding. That's the only thing that comes to mind. It seems like that's what Gurudev's saying. Bhakti or bhaktya? It did say bhaktya, like from the devotee. Sukriti coming from the grace of the devotee. Seemed like that's what Gurudev was saying there. Unmukhi, maybe that means awakened by or opened by. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's been a very lovely.
It was
inter-
propense when I looked it up on Google.
What did it say?
Propense.
Propense.
Uh-huh.
What is propense? You mean propensity?
I think so.
Huh. Okay, I'm not sure. Yes, bhaktya. Sundarasas, but your bhaktya, yeah. I think that means coming from the devotee. Okay, well, should we end there? Any last final comments from anyone? And lovely to have all of your contribution today. Special thanks to Chinmoy Prabhu. Did you want to add something, Chinmoy Prabhu?
Nope, Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. And special thanks to Ati Sundri for hosting, and all of yourselves for your auspicious presence. Jai Shri
Thank
Bhakti
you very much for
Sundar
today.
Thank you, Scarlett. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Shri Bhakti Raksha Shridhar Jai. All the assembled devotees, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan. Jai Jai Gaur Haribo.
Hari Hari Bol.
Jai Shri Vishakha Dasi ki. Jai.
Yeah.